The newest PS5 exclusive game Stellar Blade just came out today, and I wasn't really excited about it before, but I still decided to pick it up and give it a shot, and I've been really surprised with it so far. Now, I obviously haven't finished the game, it just came out today, but I still want to share with you guys my thoughts on the game so far after having played a couple hours. And as always, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe because we got a bunch more impressions and reviews of video games coming up. Make sure to comment what you think of Stellar Blade so far. Are you playing it? Are you enjoying it? Have you not purchased? Any interest? Tell me everything. And while you're there, give this video a thumbs up because for some reason that always helps the YouTube algorithm. Now, let me give you guys my first impressions after about 5 hours of Stellar Blade. Let's get into it. So in case you guys have never heard of it before, Stellar Blade is a brand new Souls-like action-adventure game. If you guys don't know what that means, a Souls-like game is a very challenging style of game where you're going to be going through these areas, fighting a bunch of enemies and bosses, and every single time you die, and you will die a lot, you're always going to be sent back to your camps. Every time you rest at a camp, all the enemies respawn, and you have to do the area again. That's the mechanic of a Souls-like, and this is one of those. Let's talk about the best part about the game, which is the combat. It is incredible. Every hit is so satisfying. Your abilities, your combos, everything feels really, really smooth. There's a counter, dodge, parry system in this, and once you get it down, because it is very, very precise for the timing, but once you get it, it feels so satisfying to pull off and knock out all the enemies really well. Speaking of the enemies, there's been a lot of variety so far, and every single one of them have their patterns, so you're gonna have to learn the patterns and make sure you use the right combo of dodging, parrying, or specific abilities to take them down, and they feel super awesome. Also, the enemies themselves look great. I love their design. Some of them remind me of Dead Space, which is really cool as well. I've also really liked the challenge of the game. It doesn't feel as difficult as Dark Souls or Elden Ring or anything like that, but still a good enough challenge. Every single boss took me 1 to 2 tries, which is a perfect amount for me. I didn't get over frustrated where I stayed on a boss for 10 plus turns. It was always one time I would die, but I understand the pattern. And then the second time, if I was able to pull off proper parries and counters and everything, I got him, or I might have to do it one other time. Every single boss was also so good so far. I think I've had about 5 or 6 bosses in the first 5 hours in the game, and they've all been super fun, really great art style as well, and their design. And their combos are really cool to learn as well. There's been some of them that are more long range and short range. You gotta combo everything. Oh, so good. On top of the combat, the music is excellent. Whether you're just walking around, you have the more chill vibe, or then when you're fighting enemies and it cranks up, or if you have the boss fights. When the boss fight music starts off, oh, it is so good. The music has been excellent. It is something that's going to be stuck in my head, and definitely some of these songs I'm going to probably download from my Spotify playlist. Great music all around. I've already talked about the enemy styles, but the graphics overall in this game have been really great in general, except for a couple little scenes where like the water didn't look really good. Some blurriness happened here and there, and I don't know if it's just because I picked performance or balance or quality mode for the graphics. In the 5 hours that I played, I jumped between the 3. So you have balance, which tries to get the performance of like frames per second, and the quality. Performance is that it always keeps you at 60 frames per second, and quality is just 4K 30 frames. I tried all 3, messed around for a couple hours on each, and I had some hiccups here and there, but I don't know if it's just because I was messing around with them or just some of the scenes. Overall, I do recommend you guys play it on balance. I feel like that is the best way to do it. If you really care about the frames, obviously go performance. I do not recommend the quality though. I think that the 30 frames just wasn't enough on that. There are also 2 difficulty levels. You have story mode and normal, and I've played both of them. If you really want a challenge, you're going to want to go on normal difficulty. That's like the general like Souls-like, where you're going to fight the bosses multiple times until you get them. Story, it does feel a lot more like a regular action adventure game. So if you wanted to play this game but you don't want the challenge, story is really good for that. Every single enemy is way more generous in how much hit you can take from them and how much easier they are to beat. So if you wanted a more chill way to play the game for the story, go with the story mode. But just note, let's talk about the story. 5 hours in, not really getting it so far. I will say the game starts with a sequence that is so good. I really like the start of it, where you have Eve and Taki is the name of the character. There's a whole segment with them, but as soon as that ends and then you get into the next section, first I thought that the jump wasn't that great, how they did the transition to the second section of the game, but from there on, the story so far hasn't really done anything for me. I'm hoping it gets better, but at the same time, with everything else and how good everything else is, I'm okay with the story not being great. I haven't ever played like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or any Souls-like for the story. I always play these games for the action, for the Souls-like mechanics of it. So this game is doing it for me. I was just hoping maybe the story would be a little bit more interesting, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to get better over time. So overall, in my first 5 hours of the game, I am really liking it. I am very excited to continue playing it, see where it goes with the combat, the bosses, what else is going to come up. I also just love exploring. There's a lot of things to find and some collectibles that I found pretty funny. That you have to find these like cans. Everything about it has been really good. Outside of the story not really hitting, the rest has been excellent, so I'm very excited to play more. I do recommend this game if you guys have a PS5. It is exclusive there. Definitely check it out. If you're not sure, there is a demo, and I do think you guys should definitely play the demo. It is the first hour or two of the game. The only problem, I'm not a big fan of that, is that the demo, you can't keep your progress. So if you play the demo, and then you play the game, you're gonna have to redo the exact same thing. They didn't save it for whatever reason, but the demo is a perfect way to try this game out before buying it. So if you were curious, definitely check that out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, subscribe, comment, like, and all that. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.